In this demonstration, we'll create a virtual machine. I'm using Hyper-V, which is Microsoft's virtualization product. It's running on a laptop because Hyper-V is built into newer versions of the Windows operating system. Before you create your virtual machine, you need to make sure that you have virtual networks set up. Virtual networks allow the virtual machines to communicate with the outside world and each other. Let's go into Virtual Switch Manager and look at the virtual switches. I've already created a couple of them. One is called vSwitch1. It allows the virtual machines to talk to each other. It's a private network. I have another one named vSwitch Internet that connects to the network card in my laptop and allows the virtual machines to communicate with the outside world. You want to set up your virtual networks before you create the virtual machines so that you can assign a virtual network during creation. I'm going to go ahead and cancel. We're ready to create our virtual machine. I'm going to right-click and do a new virtual machine. It says New Virtual Machine Wizard. I give it a name. I'm going to name it PC1, so I'll click Next. With the new Hyper-V versions, you can choose Generation 1 or Generation 2. Generation 1 is the traditional virtual machine that has hardware very similar to traditional desktops and laptops. Generation 2 has SCSI devices, no IDE, and the newer UEFI firmware instead of BIOS. We're just going to do Generation 1 and click Next. I give it the amount of RAM I want the machine to have. I'll go ahead and leave it at 1 gig of RAM and then click Next. Here's the part where the virtual switches are important. I'm going to set up what virtual switch the virtual machine will be connected to. I'm going to go ahead and connect it to the vSwitch Internet and then select Next. This is the file that's going to function as the hard drive for this virtual machine. If I create it through the wizard, it's going to be a dynamically expanding virtual disk with the name I give it. I can set up the size, so I'm going to give it 30 gigabytes. I can also use an existing virtual disk or attach one later. Then click Next. Next, the wizard asks me if I want to install an operating system. I'll specify that I want to install it from an ISO file or a DVD image. I'm going to browse for the ISO file and select this image file. I could even install from a floppy disk, although that's not very common, or a network-based installation server, such as a Windows deployment server. We'll go ahead and select Next, verify all our settings, and then finish. That's really all there is to creating a virtual machine. If I want to, after I've created my virtual machine, I can right-click on my PC1 virtual machine, go into Settings, and check out the settings and adjust whatever I need to adjust. I can change the boot order for my machine, the amount of RAM I've assigned to it. I can even adjust the number of virtual processors I want to use. I'm going to bump that up to 2. I can change which switch the network adapter is connected to. I'll go ahead and click on Cancel down here. Let's go ahead and test our virtual machine. I'm going to double-click it, which will connect to the virtual machine and open it up. Then I'll click the Start button, and it'll start the virtual machine. You can see it boots up the Windows 2016 installation. It's working like a normal machine. From this point, we would go through the normal installation process for the operating system. That's it for this demonstration. In this demo, we created a virtual machine and loaded an operating system.